Unit 9. The Kabuliwala. This story is about a Bengali middle-class family of 3 people. A good-natured father, a loving mother, and their full of beans child Minnie, who had an imaginative mind and the curiosity of a puppy. One day, a Kabuliwala knocked at their door to sell his spices and dry fruits. Seeing him, Minnie hid below her father's writing desk, her favorite hiding spot. Her father encouraged her to speak to the Kabuliwala. Little Minnie asked innocently, "What if Kabuliwala carries me off in his sack?" It is a fear that had been encouraged by her mother, who did not want Minnie to talk to strangers. But Kabuliwala soon won the child's confidence by his way of talking. He told Minnie that his sack contained an elephant and took out a fistful of dry fruits for her soon. Minnie and the Kabuliwala became great friends. Mischievous Minnie reminded the lonely Kabuliwala of his own daughter, who he had left behind in Kabul. Minnie, on the other hand, had never found such an attentive listener except her father. Often he would find Minnie seated on a bench near the door, laughing and talking to the Kabuliwala at her feet. They had many quaint jokes which amused them greatly. The Kabuliwala would often ask Minnie, "Well, little one, when are you going to your father-in-law's?" Amongst people of Kabuliwala's class, however, it is well known that the words father-in-law's house had a double meaning. It meant jail. Minnie would ask the Kabuliwala if he was going there too. "Ah," he would say, shaking his fist at a policeman, "I will thrash my father-in-law." Minnie would immediately giggle, in which her friend would join. One morning, suddenly, there was an uproar in the street, and looking out, Minnie and her father saw the Kabuliwala being led away between 2 policemen, followed by a crowd of curious boys. There were bloodstains on his clothes, and one of the policemen carried a knife. On seeing him, Minnie called, "Oh, Kabuliwala! Kabuliwala!" Rahman's face lit up as he heard Minnie and turned to her. He had no bag with him, so she proceeded to the next question. "Are you going to your father-in-law's house?" Rahman laughed and said, "That is just where I am going, little one." The Kabuliwala was sent to prison for several years. Time passed and he was forgotten. When he returned from jail 10 years later, the world had moved on, but Time had frozen for the Kabuliwala. He looked forward to meet Minnie. He bought red bangles that would fit a toddler and went to meet Minnie. That was the day Minnie was to be married. On seeing the Kabuliwala, Minnie's father did not recognize him at first. He carried no bag. His hair was cut short and his old vigor seemed to have gone. There are ceremonies going on and I am busy. Perhaps you could come another day, said the father. The Kabuliwala's face fell. He went out sadly. Minnie's father felt sorry for him and wondered if he should call him back. But he found the Kabuliwala returning on his own. I have brought these few things for the little one, sir. Will you give them to her? The father was about to pay him when he held his hand and said that it was his gift for her. He put his hand into his big loose robe and brought out a small dirty piece of paper. Unfolding it, he smoothed it out. It bore the impression of a little hand. Not a photograph, not a drawing, just the mark of an inky little hand flat on a paper. Year after year, when he came to Calcutta to sell his goods in the streets, he had carried next to his heart the touch of his own little daughter. Minnie's father realized that Rahman was also a father like him. He sent for Minnie immediately. Minnie stood quietly before her father in her red wedding saree. The Kabuliwala seemed amazed at the sight. He could not renew their old friendship. Minnie's father took out a 100-rupee note, the money set aside for the wedding lights, and gave it to the Kabuliwala, saying, "Go back to your daughter, to your own country, and may the happiness of you meeting your daughter bring good fortune to my child." Some of the entertainment had to be cut, but the marriage feast was all the more brighter because of the thought that in a distant land a long-lost father had met his only child again.